All right, everybody. Welcome to the remains of Asia. We're pretty much wrapping things up here. Seniors are finished, and so we'll go ahead and take you through the process for learning the remaining Asian countries for the two or three of you that actually watch these videos. So we'll go ahead and start here with the largest of the countries in Asia. This is Russia. We talked about Russia when we did Europe, and of course, Russia's capital is Moscow, and Russia in surface area, if you wrapped it around a sphere, it would be the same size as the dwarf planet Pluto, so it does take up quite a bit of area on the Earth's surface. Staying here in Central Asia, we'll go south of Russia to Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is a former Soviet republic, like many of these small nations through here. Its capital now is Nur Sultan. It had formerly been known as Astana, and they built a new city. Kazakhstan is also home to the Russian Space Agency Cosmodrome, where they launch cosmonauts and American astronauts into space. South of Kazakhstan here is Uzbekistan. Its capital is Tashkent, another former Soviet republic, Soviet Socialist Republic. We have an Air Force base there currently. This is Turkmenistan, another of the former Soviet republics. And one of the countries you're seeing here that ends in Stan. Stan is a Persian word, and it means land. So a lot of different ethnicities here. So you have Uzbeks, you have Turkmen. We'll get into some others as well. The capital of Turkmenistan is Ashgabat. We've already covered Afghanistan and Pakistan, so we'll stay here with the other stands. We'll go here to Kyrgyzstan, capital of Bishkek. A very poor nation, third world status, very through the process of development, not anywhere close to second world status, former Soviet republic. South of Kyrgyzstan is Tajikistan. Dushanbe is the capital, another former Soviet republic. Moving on to East Asia, we'll go to Mongolia first. Mongolia, capital of Ulaanbaatar. It is a landlocked nation between China and Russia. Fun fact about Mongolia, they have a navy. It's a tugboat with 5 sailors, and they patrol a small lake on the interior of the country. A lot of dinosaur bones fossils found in Mongolia. China, roughly the same size as the contiguous United States. About 2 billion people happen to live there. There's not much more. We know the capital is Beijing. It's America's largest competitor, both economically and currently militarily. And we know all the controversy surrounding China with the latest virus mishaps. Staying in East Asia, another country that's kind of an enigma to the United States is here, the Hidden Kingdom, North Korea, the capital of Pyongyang. Currently in the news, there's been some questions about the health of the supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, and some have said he's went through some heart surgeries, and others have said that it's just him taking some time away, but whatever it is a bit curious. South of North Korea is South Korea. North Korea is often known as the People's Republic, the People's Democratic Republic of Korea. South Korea is just known as the Republic of Korea. The capital is Seoul. In the United States, we just recognize it as South Korea. One of our allies in East Asia. Staying in East Asia, we go here to Japan. Capital, of course, is Tokyo for all you weebs out there. Japan, of course, is notorious for the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941, but it is a fast American ally, one of our closest friends in the world, and we do, and they do as well, count on each other for military, economic, and political agreements. Continuing in East Asia, we come here to Taiwan, and this is disputed. China claims Taiwan is a state of China. The capital is Taipei. The United States recognizes Taiwan as the Republic of China, whereas the mainland, the People's Republic of China, Communist China, we recognize this as, at one time, we recognized it as the only state of China, completely ignoring Communist China. We keep an aircraft carrier group in this the South China Sea in order to normalize things between China and Taiwan. It would be like, if someone said they recognized Florida was an independent country and we recognize Florida as a state. It's a weird situation. Right here, Hong Kong. Hong Kong, of course, is part of China. The two nations, one system, or two systems, one nation. I forget what it is. But anyway, Hong Kong has been in the news frequently because of the protests over legislation coming out of communist China, forcing Hong Kong into certain political positions they don't agree with. We saw the revolution in the spring before the coronavirus aspect really kind of put the world on its heels. Hong Kong one time was a British protectorate, having been seized from China, I believe, during the Opium Wars. Hong Kong now is back part of China, but it does have a degree of autonomy. So there's another protectorate here. It's Macau, and that is also former Portuguese, and it belongs to China as well. Very popular among tourists, and people love to go there for the casinos and gambling. If we go back to the Southeast Asian peninsula here, we can start here on the coast. This is Vietnam. Capital is Hanoi. Of course, Vietnam is infamous for Americans because it was the site of the Vietnam War through the late 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Vietnam has more or less become I wouldn't say an ally of the United States, but, a growing friendship is developing there. If we continue west from Vietnam, we'll go to Laos. Laos, the capital is Vientiane. And Laos, along the Mekong River, that separates it from Vietnam. Laos was infamous, again, that word, because of some bombings that took place during Operation Rolling Thunder when the United States bombed Laos and Cambodia during the Vietnam War, largely in order to stop supplies coming in from communist China to aid the North Vietnamese. We go south of Laos. We go to Cambodia, formerly known as Kampuchea. The capital is Phnom Penh, famous for the dictatorial regime of the despot Pol Pot. He killed 20% of his population in the 70s and 80s. Cambodia has kind of turned things around in an attempt to rebrand themselves, not so much as a tyrannical regime, but as a modern Asian nation. We go all the way to the east coast. We can go here to Myanmar, also known as Burma. The capital is Nai Piadet. Formerly was Rangoon. This place is just terrible for human rights abuses, persecution of different minorities in this place. It's just the Rohingya Muslims that live here go through similar conditions that the Jews went through during the Holocaust in World War II. Just a despicable place. Moving from Myanmar south, we go to Thailand, formerly known as the Kingdom of Siam. Capital of Thailand is Bangkok. It's a rather stable nation, never taken over by European powers, not from lack of trying, but Thailand kind of was able to hold on to their own, actually held the British off, and the Japanese, of course, during World War II. There are part on the Malay Peninsula, and if we go down the Malay Peninsula and go south, we can go to, Malaysia. Malaysia is the tip of the Malay Peninsula here, and also part of it is here as part of this archipelago. This is the island of Borneo, I believe, and Malaysia spans the two islands. The capital is Kuala Lumpur. One time it was famous for the Twin Petronas Towers as the tallest building in the world. I think it's still the tallest twin towers in the world now. At the end of the Malay Peninsula is a small island. Right here, this is Singapore. Singapore is a city-state, much like with Monaco, the Vatican City, San Marino. But it does flourish. Very strict on ordinances and laws that involve public hygiene and public ways you present yourself in public. But it is one of the shining jewels, I think, like the 3 jewels of Asia or something like that. A small microstate here on the island with Malaysia is Brunei. Bandar Seri Begawan is the capital. It's ruled by the Sultan of Brunei. He's one of the wealthiest men on the planet. It's wealthy because there are oil fields in their territorial waters off the coast. This large island archipelago is Indonesia. Indonesia is the most populous Muslim country in the world, formerly controlled by the Dutch and as the Spice Islands, but then eventually gaining their independence. India was devastated back, was that 2004? Man, that seems like a long time ago, by a huge tsunami. Killed hundreds of thousands of people, especially the Aceh province here on the island of Sumatra. Indonesia did experience a country breaking away. This very small country is East Timor, and it is essentially a Christian portion of the Indonesian nation. The archipelago gained independence in like 2012, so it wasn't that long ago. The capital is Dili, and really, if you want to be specific, this small country, East Timor, is also known as Timor-Leste, East Timor in Dutch. We can go here to Papua New Guinea. Port Moresby is the capital. It's not usually considered part of Asia. It's kind of thrown in with Australia and New Zealand as part of Oceania. But since it shares the island of Guinea the island of New Guinea with Indonesia, Papua New Guinea can kind of go Asia, but culturally it's more connected to Australia and Oceania. Finally, here we have the Philippines. Capital is Manila, formerly a Spanish colony, then an American colony after the Spanish-American War. The United States has maintained an on again, off again friendship with the Philippines. Philippines had the opportunity at one time, several opportunities where it was introduced to become a state within the United States. It would have been very much like the issue with Hawaii. William Howard Taft, President of the United States, one time was the governor of the Philippines. Fun fact there. Of course, we occupied the Philippines during World War II as a way to try to prevent the Japanese from conquering the islands. Of course, it failed with Douglas MacArthur leaving, but promising that he would return, which he did. And then we liberated the Philippines from the Japanese. All right, guys, this is the learning segment of what's remaining of Asia. There are 25 nations here. I'll go ahead and post this video, and then we'll post up the quizzes and stuff so that you can finish out this portion. After this, it'll be Oceania, and then we will wrap things up for the year. I know I haven't been putting a whole lot out. I think there's a whole lot more going on. I appreciate those of you guys that watch. I know I'm making this just for a very, very few of you, but thanks for taking part, and take care.